The winter wind blew sharply across the quiet streets of Portland, Oregon. It was one of those evenings when the sky turned a pale gray, the air felt heavy, and the world looked strangely distant. On this cold evening, a woman named Emily walked alone along the riverside path. Her hands were buried deep in her coat pockets, her shoulders tense, and her eyes filled with a silent ache she had been hiding for months. Life had not been kind to Emily recently. A painful divorce, the loss of her job, and weeks of isolation had left her emotionally drained. Her confidence was shattered, her dreams felt meaningless, and every day had become harder than the last. She often walked by the river to clear her mind, but tonight, the darkness inside her felt heavier than ever. The wind picked up, carrying the sound of distant traffic, and Emily stepped closer toward the edge of the riverbank. She wasn't sure what she wanted: peace, silence, or an end to the never-ending pain. Her breath trembled as she stared into the cold, black water swirling below. And then, she heard a soft whimper. Emily turned slowly. Out of the shadows emerged a small, stray dog, a thin, shivering creature with muddy fur and tired brown eyes. The dog walked toward her cautiously, as if sensing something was deeply wrong. Despite the cold, his tail wagged weakly with hope. "Hey there," Emily whispered, her voice cracking as she knelt down. The dog stepped closer and placed his wet nose against her hand, as if offering comfort. His touch was gentle, warm, and unexpectedly grounding. Emily felt tears spill from her eyes as she stroked his matted fur. It had been months since someone had touched her with such sincerity. If that someone was just a homeless dog. "Are you alone too?" she whispered. The dog whimpered again and pressed his head against her leg. In that moment, something shifted inside Emily. The dark thoughts clouding her mind softened. She couldn't walk away, no, not when this helpless creature needed her. "Come on," she said softly. "Let's get you out of the cold." She took off her scarf and wrapped it around the dog. The little creature looked up at her with grateful eyes, and together they walked toward her apartment. Emily wasn't sure what she would do with him. She didn't even know if pets were allowed in her building, but none of that mattered now. What mattered was that for the first time in months, she didn't feel completely alone. When they reached home, Emily gently washed the dog, warmed him with a towel, and gave him some leftover chicken. The dog ate slowly, as if savoring every bite. Then, to her surprise, he curled up beside her on the couch and fell asleep with his head on her lap. She smiled, a real smile, the first one in a long time. Days passed, and Emily began to find purpose again. She took the dog to a vet, where she learned he had no microchip and had likely lived on the streets for months. She named him Lucky, because meeting him truly felt like a miracle. Lucky followed her everywhere on walks, to the grocery store, even sitting beside her as she searched for new jobs online. His loyalty, affection, and innocent joy slowly healed the broken pieces of her heart. One afternoon, as they walked in the park, Emily felt sunshine on her face for the first time in weeks. Lucky ran through the grass, barking happily, and Emily laughed out loud. A man sitting nearby smiled at her. "That's a great dog you've got," he said. Emily looked down at Lucky, who was now proudly carrying a stick bigger than his entire body. "Yeah," she said softly. "He saved me." The man raised an eyebrow. "Saved you?" She nodded. "I was in a really dark place the night I found him. Or maybe the night he found me." Lucky ran back and jumped into her arms, licking her face. The man chuckled. "Dogs know when someone needs them," he said. "They're angels disguised in fur." Emily agreed. Months later, her life looked completely different. She found a new job, made new friends, and rebuilt her routine. Lucky remained by her side every step of the way, loyal, protective, and full of love. And sometimes, when Emily stood by the river at sunset, she looked at the calm water and whispered a quiet thank you, not to fate, not to luck, but to the little stray dog who had walked into her life on the darkest night and reminded her that hope still existed. Lucky didn't just save her life, he became her life. If you ever feel like you're alone in the dark, please remember that there is always help available, and you don't have to go through it by yourself. Reaching out is a sign of strength. We've included some resources in the description below. Thank you for watching, and we hope this story brought a little light into your day. Please like and subscribe for more heartwarming stories.